Welcome into the GOAT Show, ladies and gentlemen. We are the GOATs. I'm Caleb Short.
And I'm Bones Jones.
And we've got a great show ready for you today. We've got all the Chiefs talk you could handle here on, I guess, what's a Red Friday or something after the game. We've got all sorts of topics. We're going to talk about Tyreek Hill. We're going to talk about Derek Johnson. We're going to talk about the running game. Anything you wanted to hear from the Chiefs game, we have got. We're going to have our big segment here where we're going to give out our Chiefs awards. I don't know what week is this, but we are going to give out awards for things like MVP, offensive, defensive player of the year. We're going to talk about if the Chiefs were to be the only contestants up for those awards, who would win it. And then we're going to follow it up. We're going to give you a little bit of hot stove news and maybe even talk a touch of college football here at the end of the show. So let's go ahead and get right into it. How about that game?
That game was amazing, Caleb. I mean, I was fortunate enough to get the night off from work to watch it, and let me tell you, I really wish I was there. I mean, the atmosphere was great from what I saw. The play on the field, turnover-wise for the Chiefs, not that great, but overall, the defense really shined and came in the big moments.
Yeah, honestly, the defense there, I mean, the Chiefs won the game there in the second half when they had 2 turnovers back-to-back, but only surrendered 3 points. Like, easily, the Chiefs could have given up 2 touchdowns there. They were put in a terrible situation. The Raiders had the ball like 20, 30-yard line, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but Raiders have the ball, great field position, and to only get 3 points out of it, like, you can't do that in the NFL. But then again, there's a lot of things you can't do in the NFL, and somehow you can still win. Chiefs had 3 turnovers yesterday. You can't win football games in the NFL with a 3-turnover deficit, but they were able to do it.
I don't see how people say this team could be a Super Bowl contender, but to be able to beat teams like New England and Pittsburgh, you can't turn over the ball 3 times in a game and win.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are they're winning football games this year in any way but just going out there and playing good. Like, there's always a caveat with these Chiefs wins. The Chiefs won the game today, but they had 3 turnovers. Chiefs won the game today, but they had a fake punt go for 55 yards and a touchdown. The Chiefs won the game today, but they had some huge turnover by the other team. There's always something. The Chiefs have yet to put together a complete game. Let's go ahead and jump into some of these topics we've got lined up here. Number 1, how can you lead any show talking about the Chiefs right now without talking about Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill is obviously a game changer for the Chiefs, special teams, offensive. He's the full package for the Chiefs right now, and I believe he is the key to their success lately. I mean, you see, he goes out there, returns punts, he gets good, gains a huge yardage on catches. That one catch he had in the first half where Alex Smith actually threw a bomb that wasn't incredibly bad. I was impressed with that, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, That was a new wrinkle we saw out of. We haven't seen Tyreek Hill run a post route. We've seen him do the bubble screens. We've seen him do the jet sweeps. We've seen him on straight down the sideline routes. But we haven't seen him just go straight up the middle and run straight past 2 people. Like, there was nothing the Oakland secondary could have done on that play. It was just Tyreek Hill is faster than them, and that is very hard to defend. Like, from now on, I think you've got to spy a safety on him or something. He is just a huge threat. I think Antonio Brown, but faster than everyone who will ever cover him.
Right. I mean, I don't know how. I've never seen this type of player. I've never seen someone. The only person I can think of, even Chiefs related, is Dante Hall, and I feel like him and Dante Hall are basically the same guy. Explosive on special teams, a very small stature for a wideout, but can give you big plays when you need it.
Yeah, and the thing is, you can't get overhyped about Tyreek Hill yet. I mean, he's only played, 3/4 of an NFL season. I mean, he's going to get hurt. He's going to have... There's no way he can keep this up. If he keeps this up right now, he is a first ballot Hall of Famer and then some.
Right.
He is just absolutely on another level right now. Teams are going to be able to figure him out at some point. But, yeah, for right now, making comparisons or a ceiling for him is just impossible because every week he goes out there and you say, all right, he looks like he's going to be a great gadget player. exceeds that. All right, okay, maybe he can be a good punt returner and maybe catch a few passes. He's exceeded that. He is the Chiefs' #1 wide receiver right now. And I know that sounds crazy when we have Jeremy Maclin on the team, but I mean, even a fully healthy Jeremy Maclin cannot keep up with the production that Tyreek Hill is putting out right now.
No, he can't. And I don't know what to say. I'm still in awe with how Tyreek Hill's been doing all this. I mean, maybe next year, who knows? He has the sophomore slump, and all the hype dies down around him. But let's hope not, and let's see if he can continue this throughout the playoffs as well, because the Chiefs are going to need him in the playoffs.
Yeah, if the Chiefs want to beat New England, especially if it ends up being in Foxborough, hopefully, I mean, playoffs are all complete random, you never know, but Chiefs in Foxborough, they're going to need some of these just big plays to come out of nowhere, and Tyreek Hill is one of the people that can provide them. They're going to need defensive touchdowns, they're going to need special teams points, they're going to need bombs to be able to keep up with the Patriots, and Tyreek Hill is the #1 go-to guy whenever you need points. You can count on him. He called his shot yesterday on a punt return. He's out there. The crowd's yelling, Tyreek, Tyreek. What happens? Touchdown. The dude is insane. I mean, the only problem with it is a lot of people are going to look at it and he's hard to root for because of the domestic violence stuff. Like, that is lower than low, but purely football, the dude's insane.
And many Chiefs fans especially, they're going to look past the domestic violence case. You have your average NFL fan who's just going to be like, oh, he hit his girlfriend and all this. And most people are going to look at that and be like, oh, that's bad, we're not going to root for him. But yet, if you're a diehard Chiefs fan, you look at this and you say, I can look past that, as bad as it may be, and still root for this guy because he's getting my team into the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, he's the ultimate underdog. He comes from Western Alabama. He played football at a junior college. What is he, like 5'8", 5'9"? I don't know. You can get on that. But he's incredibly small. He just seems like average Joe out there, and he's average Joe with one very different characteristic from average Joe. Average Joe doesn't have 4.2 speed.
No. Average Joe isn't 5'10" and a starting wide receiver in the NFL.
Yeah, he is. But no, he's an ultimate underdog, and time will tell if he's able to keep this pace up, and time will tell time is already told whether the fans are going to accept him or not. The fans don't just start chanting for people that they hate. The fans at Arrowhead yesterday proved that they can look past domestic violence, and it's up to every individual person whether or not that's something they can look past. In my opinion, people are always going to say people deserve second chances, but I don't know. Do people who beat up pregnant women deserve second chances? I don't know about that, but I'm going to root for him as a football player because I really like the Chiefs.
Exactly.
It's good for the city.
I hate saying this, but if he helps my team win, I can look past the fact that as a football player wise, he hasn't done that. As a human being off the field is completely different. 90% of the time I look past that because obviously that's just how I am. I don't look at off the field incidents that way.
I will say that I'm going to cheer for him, and I hope that he does amazingly well in the NFL. But every time he scored a touchdown this season, I thought, and he punched a pregnant woman. It's just always something that's going to be there. It's not so. I'm never going to buy a Tyreek Hill jersey. I'll say that right now. I'm not going to buy a Tyreek Hill jersey, but I will root for him.
Mm-hmm. Should transition to our next topic, talking about Derek Johnson. And if you guys didn't hear, Derek Johnson ruptured an Achilles tendon. It's the second one. I believe it was his left foot.
Yeah, I believe so too.
His left Achilles tendon, what was it, like 2013 or something like that?
2014.
2014, he ruptured the one in his right foot. And to me, I think that is the last time we are going to see Derek Johnson on an NFL field.
Yeah, I don't know what his contract situation is. I'm looking that up. Well, I'm not entirely sure how his contract works, but Yeah, he's up there in age. But the thing is, Derek Johnson, he's an incredibly productive player, and I believe he's the leading tackler in Chiefs history. He's every game you watch with Derek Johnson on the field, his name's going to get called 6 or 7 times. He's always out there. The thing is, this is one of those injuries. Every football team's going to go through a big injury that's going to really derail them. And this is the Chiefs' injury. Last year, they had Jamal Charles go down, and they were able to replace him. This year, we have Derek Johnson go down. Will we be able to replace him? Only time will tell. At least in this case, Derek Johnson at his age, like, we all understand. Like, it wasn't like Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles was prime of his career going into last season and went down. We know Derek Johnson was on his decline, and that the Chiefs knew that as well. The Chiefs had to have known, and so whatever they have to have a plan right now. They had to have already had. They've got Daniel Sorensen. They've got guys that they can fill in, and since it's just linebacker, I think the Chiefs weren't good against the run anyway. I don't think they're going to get significantly worse that it'll cripple the team.
And I'm looking at DJ's contract right now. He becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2019. He still has 2 years left on his 3-year, $21 million deal. And I don't know if you're the Chiefs, do you just eat up that contract?
Yeah.
And let him, and if he wants to retire, just let him retire.
Well, they're 1 day into the injury, so they'll let the medical staff figure that out. From a purely football standpoint, though, not talking about the future or anything, more on the Chiefs are terrible against the run. The Chiefs are not a good defense in terms of yards. They're good at taking the ball away. And that fact does not change with Derek Johnson on the sideline. You still got Marcus Peters. You still have Eric Berry. You still have guys that can take the football away. You've still got that pass rush. So, as much as it pains me to say it, because I love Derek Johnson, the Chiefs, I don't think, will be crippled by this injury.
The worst case scenario, you draft someone in mid-first round, mid-second round at a linebacker position, and you get him for a first-round contract or a second-round contract and develop him, and hopefully, pray to God, he becomes the next Derek Johnson. But
yeah, it's tough to find the next Derek Johnson just out there in the draft.
Exactly.
Yeah. Transferring from the Chiefs stopping the run to other teams stopping the Chiefs with the run, where is the running game?
It's non-existent.
Yeah.
Spencer Ware, 33 carries for 75 yards in the past 2 games or something like that.
Yeah, it's not good, and I have Spencer Ware on my fantasy team. So,
Same.
So, yeah. Well, I guess we're Chiefs fans. I didn't know you had him on yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason he doesn't play in our league. Anyway, Spencer Ware, yesterday I believe it was 20 carries for 55, 56 yards. I play in PPR too, so he got me 1 catch. The Chiefs, they're built to be a running team. Going into the season, you go and you think, okay, Spencer Ware, Sharkhandrick West, that was a good running team last year. They can obviously continue to do the same thing. And it's just not happening. The first few weeks, I believe it was the Oakland game the first time. It's the last time the Chiefs running game has looked even close to dominant. And I don't get it.
I don't either. And maybe it's Andy Reid is growing confidence with Alex Smith going in further into the season, especially with tougher opponents, especially when you play Denver twice in the back half of the season. Denver's secondary isn't all that great in my opinion. It's really where their linebackers and D-line are where Denver excels, in my opinion.
People have been able to run on... The thing is, the Chiefs played Atlanta. Atlanta can't stop anyone. Spencer Ware didn't do anything. This team is built to be a smash mouth running football team, and smash mouth running football teams aren't supposed to have 50, 60 yards rushing in a game. Smash mouth power football teams with a ball control quarterback are not supposed to have 3 turnovers in a game and win. Smash mouth ball control quarterback offensive teams are not supposed to throw as many passes a game as Alex Smith does. But what am I to complain? The Chiefs are I mean, they're in the driver's seat for a first-round bye in the playoffs. And the offense has yet to really put together a complete full game outside of Oakland and the second half of San Diego. And yet they have 3 losses, so I don't get it.
Is it just how weak the NFL is this year, or is it the Chiefs' defense is that good?
The thing is, I don't even think the Chiefs' defense is all that good. I think the Chiefs' defense is all that lucky. I mean, saying that a defense is bend but don't break is a polite way of saying that they give up a lot of yards and then get lucky. It's like telling a girl that she's got a good personality. She really goes out there and tries her best, but
at the end of the day, you just want to be friends with her.
Yeah, it's not sexy. This whole team is not sexy.
No.
And that's why Kansas City teams not getting as much run in the national media and stuff. And why is that? They don't look good. I mean, they won yesterday with 3 turnovers. Week before that, they win only because Eric Berry single-handedly scores 8 points. It's weird.
I understand why they don't get the national attention. And that's the problem in the Kansas City market, is that these are such loyal fans in this Kansas City market that they expect to get all this national attention, especially after the Royals won the World Series. The Royals wanted all these fans wanted national attention for the Royals. The Chiefs went on that run last year. They wanted national attention. And you get like maybe a minute of talk time on SportsCenter about the Royals and Chiefs. And it's because they don't play the style of football or baseball that every other team, like the Patriots, the Broncos, they don't play the same style. And that style is appealing to the casual fan. Chiefs style is not appealing.
Yeah, and it's incredibly similar to the Royals. I hate making cross-sport comparisons like this, but the Royals in 2014 and then into 2015 as well, but mostly 2014, they just came out there and they would find ways to win. In 2014, nobody expected the Royals to even make the playoffs, and they ended up making the World Series just with pure going out there, hitting the ball, circling the bases, singles. What are the Chiefs?
Scrappy.
Yeah, they go out there. Everybody expects them it to be close and maybe a loss. What do? Somehow they end up with some turnovers or end up with a special teams touchdown. It's crazy, but it's working. I mean, this whole team is just, I don't get it. I don't know how they win, because I don't think they're as good as their record says. But then again, your record is the only important thing in football, and I preach wins and losses no matter what. And so yeah, they've won football games, and that's all they need to do. The recent emergence of Alex Smith is that first half of the game yesterday. The start of both of the last 2 games have been the best I've seen Alex Smith in a Chiefs jersey, outside of maybe the first half of the Colts playoff game. He, in the first half of the first couple drives of Atlanta, forcing the ball down the field, beautiful. What the heck is this team? And then ends up settling in and wins without scoring any points the rest of the game. Against Oakland, he's driving the ball downfield. That pass to Chris Conley. First of all, since when does Chris Conley run deep routes? Second of all, since when does Alex Smith throw deep routes? It's insane, and I love it. That deep pass to Tyreek Hill. Beautiful. He was driving the ball downfield to Kelsey. Beautiful. Alex Smith, I've been a firm believer in Alex Smith. Kind of like some people are still firm believers in Tim Tebow, because they both won football games, and that's what matters.
Alex Smith is going to win you regular season games, and that's how he is. He's going to win you regular season games, but I'm going to make a comparison to the great and almighty Gary Pinkel. And Alex Smith and Gary Pinkel are similar in my mind. Alex Smith wins you the games to get to what is considered the high point for your team. Gary Pinkel with Mizzou in 2007, he won the games. He beat number 2 Kansas, or number 1 Kansas at the time. and then you lose twice to Oklahoma, and you lose to them in the Big 12 championship game. You lose to them in the Big 12 championship game, you're not in the national title game. You go to the Cotton Bowl. But Pinkel did the same thing whenever he played, I believe it was Auburn in 2013, or Bama the next year. You get to the SEC title game. That's the high point. That's the highest Mizzou football is going to get, is to the SEC title game. They're not going to win it because there's no way an SEC East team is going to beat Bama.
I mean, it's possible, but
it's rare.
It's kind of like that in the Pac-12. What is it? The Pac-12 South has never won a conference championship game. It's just amazing how that works. But more like Alex Smith, he's a regular season winner. What is it, 20-3, 21-3, or something like that in the last regular season games? And I really think people talk about, but he won't win in the playoffs. I don't know if you noticed, but there's only one team that wins in the playoffs, and a lot of teams that don't win in the playoffs. And Alex Smith, he's not going to lose you the game. And a lot of people say he can't win you the game. I don't know. I'm a believer in Alex Smith. People are going to be quick to point out how bad he played those first 2 plays of the second half. I mean, my thing is, I will gladly take 1 turnover a game from Alex Smith.
I would too. I would take 1 turnover a game over. I don't know what to compare it to. I really don't. I'd say maybe a fumble, because a fumble with a running back can change. That loses the running back's confidence. With a quarterback, you can obviously just you don't have to give. I don't know. I just lost it.
Yeah, I mean, well, Alex Smith, if you want him to drive the ball down the field, people are always talking about Alex Smith, drive the ball down the field, hit people long. Do that, please. Make the offense click. Well, if you want Alex Smith to make the offense click and really drive the ball down the field, you're going to have to accept some mistakes, and that's a thing.
Going on, is this the demise of Derek Carr? We see him, he can't win against the Chiefs somehow.
Yeah, well, this is really the demise. If Derek Carr thought there was any chance of him, he was the favorite to win the MVP going into this game. No more. People are going to be quick to point out the pinky injury and the cold. Well, that doesn't matter. He went on a national stage and threw over 40 passing attempts for just over 100 yards. That's not going to win you an MVP.
When you have a 9.7 QBR, I'm sorry you're not getting my MVP vote if I had a say in it.
Yeah, MVP. Well, the thing about MVP is, in my mind, it's Tom Brady very clearly this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can't give it to Zeke. You can't give it to Zeke Elliott. You can't give it to Dak Prescott. I just combined Dak and Zeke. And
Zach.
Yeah, good old. All right, you can't give it to the Fighting Zacks of Dallas because, I mean, they are not the most valuable people on their team. Their offensive line is there. They have great receivers. He is in a perfect situation. He's got a good defense. I mean, but the two of those have been put in such a dream situation that if they didn't succeed, it would be a shocker. I mean, the Cowboys are an insanely good team with or without Ezekiel Elliott. The New England Patriots are not an insanely good team without Tom Brady.
Exactly. And we saw that through the first 4 games of Tom Brady's suspension. You see them go through 2 quarterbacks, Jimmy Garoppolo and Jarvis Landry. Wasn't that it?
Not Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry is a wide receiver for the freaking Dolphins, you ding-a-ling. Jacoby Brissett. Yeah,
I don't follow the Patriots.
Look at me dropping backup quarterback names.
I don't know backup quarterbacks that well because I really don't care. But you see them, Jacoby Brissett, he did all right. I would say about average. And then Garoppolo impressed the first couple games, gets injured that one game. And then it just went downhill. Now we're going to transition to our favorite segment so far today.
It's the Chief Awards.
In this segment, we're going to talk about who we think, if the season were to end today, who we think wins the MVP, the Fantasy Player of the Year, Offensive, Defensive, and Comeback Player of the Year, and Rookie of the Year for the Chiefs, if the Chiefs were just only being selected. Now, I'll let you go first, Caleb, on this one.
Yeah, this is really something that to me, for MVP starting off, for MVP, there's, in my mind, the candidates are obviously Alex Smith. He's the quarterback. That is an MVP candidate. But really, who else on the offense? The offense, you can say Tyreek Hill as of late, but he hasn't been the MVP the whole season. In my mind, the most valuable player on the Kansas City Chiefs roster is Eric Berry.
I'll keep it on the defensive side, but I say Marcus Peters. Marcus Peters is one of the most dynamic corners and most explosive corners in the game today. Yeah, the first half of the San Diego game showed that maybe this is what was not the Marcus Peters we saw last year, but he currently, I believe, is tied for the league lead in interceptions, or second.
Yeah, I know he's got 5 interceptions and 8 takeaways. And Marcus Peters, he's a very dynamic player, but I pick Eric Berry for the leadership aspect. Eric Berry is an inspiration to every man on that team. Eric Berry is, whenever they show that awesome shot of like the camera above the huddle while they're all screaming at each other before they all run out on the field or something, it's Eric Berry in the middle of that. Eric Berry is the heart, soul, and mind and gut and anything that can be important to that team. Eric Berry is that. Eric Berry is, in my opinion, Justin Houston is the best player on the defense. You can't give him a season award for that, but Eric Berry is incredibly important. Marcus Peters is. Teams don't throw at him, and when they do throw at him, he gets interceptions. But yeah, in my mind, it's Eric Berry.
Offensive Player of the Year, I choose. It's really a 3-way tie, but I've narrowed it down to who I think are the 2 best, and I think it's, if we're basing it off of late, Tyreek and Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey's a big one there. And the thing is, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, they both started out really slow, and so I have a hard time giving them awards for season awards when Travis Kelce at the start of the season was getting you like 3 catches a game at some point, and Tyreek Hill really didn't come on strong. But the thing is, this offense doesn't have an offensive player there. Alex Smith, yeah, sure, he's
quarterbacking real well.
He's won games, woo. So yeah, Travis Kelce is my offensive player of the year.
Let's go back onto the defensive side. You said that Eric Berry was your defensive player of the year.
No, I did not say Eric Berry was my defensive player.
Or MVP.
Yeah, Eric Berry is my MVP, but transitioning to the defensive player of the year, my defensive player of the year is Marcus Peters.
I have to agree with you on that. I mean, he's changed games for the Chiefs. He's changed the momentum. And to me, that's what this team needs. If the offense can't get it done, you need Marcus Peters or you need Eric Berry to help change that and help you win.
Marcus Peters, he hasn't had a takeaway in like 3 weeks, I don't think, but that's because teams are scared of him at this point. He single-handedly won you the Carolina game. He went in there and took the cookie straight out of Kelvin Benjamin's jar and won you that game. Marcus Peters just has an uncanny ability to take the ball away, and right now he's not a sexy pick for Defensive Player of the Year because he hasn't really done much lately, but that's because teams are scared of him. Teams don't throw at him. What happened? Like the one big throw they had at Marcus Peters, it was that 3rd and 1. They tried a fade route to the end zone against Marcus Peters. What are you doing, Carolina? What are you doing, Oakland? You can't throw that at Marcus Peters. Yeah, Marcus Peters is my defensive player of the year. Eric Berry is my MVP. They're 2 different things.
Right.
Going on, we have our comeback player of the year. I'm interested to see what you have here.
I have Justin Houston, comeback player of the year. Yes, he hasn't obviously been playing much, but Jamal hasn't done really anything this year. But Justin Houston came back that Denver game, really helped us, I think, get us to overtime and help us win it when the offense wasn't doing much in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, I like to assign certain players that won you games. Like I said, Marcus Peters won the Carolina game. Eric Berry won the Atlanta game. Justin Houston won the Denver game. But in my opinion, I don't know if this really counts, but I have given my comeback player of the award to D. Ford. I don't know if you can win comeback player of the award from just come back from being garbage, but yeah, he is my comeback player of the year. At one point, the dude's leading the league in sacks. We haven't seen him lately. He had that injury, and now he's just now starting to get healthy again, I think. But it's really weird for me to hear the Chiefs' three-headed monster pass rush. People talking about that. Tamba Lee is almost nothing. He's just a placeholder right now. But we have a replacement for him. We have D Ford, and that's really weird for me to say, considering the dude used to run away from running backs, and now he's a legitimate pass rush contender, and that's just, it's weird. But I'm gonna give comeback player of the award to D Ford for coming back from being garbage.
And now on to Rookie of the Year. I believe this is probably the most obvious and unanimous choice out there.
If you don't think Tyreek Hill is the Rookie of the Year, you're pretty stupid.
I'll agree with that. I mean, like we've said about 100 times on this podcast so far, the dude has changed games for the Chiefs. He's won the Chiefs games.
Yeah, remember that huge Monday night punt return? Who was that? Yeah, that Monday night game like 3 years ago or so. Gosh, what was his name? It doesn't matter.
Was it DeAnthony?
No, it wasn't DeAnthony. It was
Dexter McCluster.
Yeah, Dexter McCluster. That huge Dexter McCluster punt return. And from then on, Dexter McCluster, every time he went out there, he didn't have any more big moments as a Chief. But from then on, he was insane. He was remembered. Tyreek Hill, he doesn't have to score another touchdown for the rest of his career. He's ingrained in Chiefs legend. Dexter McCluster, he hasn't played for the Chiefs for 2 years. You ask people what their favorite memory of Arrowhead was, there is people right now, that is their moment. There's people that were at that game, nothing compares to it. Tyreek Hill, he just had another Arrowhead moment like that with 2 touchdowns.
His first Arrowhead moment.
Yeah, his first big Arrowhead moment. He's there Thursday night, freezing cold.
Against your biggest rival.
And there he goes. He's gone. So, Rookie of the Year is Tyreek Hill. And finally, the Fantasy Player of the Year.
Ooh, the Fantasy Player of the Year. I believe I had the defense as my Fantasy Player of the Year, based solely on the fact of the takeaways. The Jets game, they got me 32 points.
Yeah.
The only problem is with them is that they give up a lot of yardage.
Yeah, the Chiefs are probably like the worst team in the league in terms of fantasy players. Their offense is not conducive to giving you a lot of fantasy players. Like there's no other team in the league that you would name the defense as their fantasy player of the year. But yeah, the Chiefs, their defense with the takeaways and the special teams and touchdowns and such will give you points. I have my fantasy player of the year as Tyreek Hill because, well, we've talked about him enough. Tyreek Hill, as of late, like I said, season-long awards, I don't like to give it to people who haven't been there the entire season. And then I follow that up by giving awards to Tyreek Hill and giving awards to Tom Brady for my overall MVP right now. But Tyreek Hill, he is a fantasy blessing for anyone who managed to pick him up about week 6 or 7.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no way anybody would have drafted him. But yeah,
I did not draft him, and I picked him at mid-season. I do not regret it.
Yeah, he's been out there. I, of course, did not have good waiver priority the week I decided I wanted him, and I didn't get him. Fantasy advice: always pick people a week before everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very detailed advice. If somebody's on a bye week and nobody wants to pick him up that week. Get him a week early. Let him sit on the bench.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, so those are our awards. Wrapping it up, I have my MVP, Eric Berry. Offensive Player of the Year went to Travis Kelce. Defense, Marcus Peters. Comeback Player of the Year, D Ford. And Rookie and Fantasy Player of the Year were Tyreek Hill. I believe you had...
MVP, I had Marcus Peters. Fantasy Player was the defense. Offensive Player of the Year, I gave it to either Tyreek or Kelce. I'm still unsure. I'd rather let the season finish out first to see how that ends up.
Yeah, these aren't final. We'll revisit this after the season.
Defensive Player of the Year, I gave it to Marcus Peters. Rookie of the Year, obviously, is Tyreek Hill. And Comeback Player of the Year is Justin Houston. And those are my Chief awards.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and move into the hottest part of the stove. That didn't make sense. Let's try that again. Let's go ahead and transition into the hottest part of the show, the hot stove. The only big news so far coming out of the Royals camp, at least from winter meetings right now, we've got Wade Davis gone,
and Jorge Soler.
Yeah, the solar jokes, the Soler jokes. That people are going to be tweeting about solar power for the next 4 years, and I'm going to love every second of it. Jorge Soler, obviously, I've never watched him play in depth, and I've watched a ton of Wade Davis, but these are the kind of moves that I want to see the Royals make, because I would like to see the Royals stay contenders, but I know that's not possible. The Royals do not have the payroll or the nuts required to stay contenders long term. So I love baseball trades. Baseball trades are the best thing in the sport, or the best thing in sports. Like NBA trades, football trades, I don't care about those. Baseball trades, though, building towards the future is just amazing. The Royals are now going to have 4 years of their everyday right fielder, and they had to give up from a strength. They gave up their closer. Well, I don't know if you noticed, we have Hochevar and we have Herrera that are just sitting there, and one of them can be a closer. I mean, Herrera would have been a closer for half the teams in baseball last year. Let's give him a chance.
Exactly.
Hochevar, I mean, he can do it. He's got the talent.
Hochevar becomes your setup man, I believe.
Yeah, that's probably how it'll work.
Then who do you think is your seventh inning guy?
Well, the thing is, most teams don't really have... the Royals have had such a luxury in the bullpen of just... They know, all right, this is our closer, this is our eighth inning guy, this is our seventh inning guy. Hochevar was a sixth inning guy a year or so ago. And no team normally has a sixth inning guy just lined up and ready to go. So the bullpen's going to be a lot more fluid now. Obviously, I think the team's going to regress. I don't think the Royals are making the playoffs next year. The team's going to regress. The pitching is not there. You're going to be relying on Jason Vargas coming off of Tommy John surgery to give you innings. That's not a reliable source. You're going to be relying on Danny Duffy,
who's very inconsistent, in my opinion.
Yeah, Danny Duffy. There's so many people buying into Danny Duffy as being this great future, and what we saw was real. I do not think what we saw at the end of last season was real. I did not think what we saw it again, I believe it was in 2015 or 2014, 2015, whatever. It was 2014, where he had that 2-month stretch where he was insane. He is so inconsistent, and inconsistency from a starting pitcher is not something you want. There's a reason why the Royals went out there and I'm blanking. Who was that guy that they signed going before last season, the pitcher?
Soria?
No, the starter.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, see, it's the off season, folks.
We don't know.
Whatever. They signed that one dude for 4 years.
Ian Kennedy.
Yeah, Ian Kennedy. That's the dude. They signed Ian Kennedy, and Ian Kennedy is a career
average.
Yeah, he is a career average to below average fourth starter for Major League Baseball teams. And you know what? The Royals got great value with him. They paid him a lot of money. He's the second highest player. Yeah, tongue twisters in Royals history. Dude, we've been doing the show for 45 minutes now. All right, it's getting rough. And it's only 38. Whatever. They paid him a lot of money, but consistency. The dude goes out there and he eats innings, and that's what you got to have in baseball. Duffy is really inconsistent. The thing is, Giordano and Duffy, I don't think either of them are going to be able to carry this team, and you are relying on both of them to be top-flight starters. I don't think either one of them is going to be a top-flight starter, and you're relying on both of them, and that's a problem. The Royals' pitching is not going to be good. You've lost Kendrys Morales. You've lost your run producer. You've lost your protection for Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer is going to see his walks go through the roof this year because he doesn't have that protection in the lineup. So I'm interested in seeing, back to my point I was making 5 minutes ago, I'm interested in seeing the Royals build towards the future. They're probably going to stay pat with most of their big guys from now on for the rest of the offseason, but come trade deadline, the Royals are going to be... If the Royals are even close to out of it, they need to sell and sell hard. Moustakas is dealable. Hosmer's dealable. I think Kane is dealable. The only real members of your core that aren't really dealable
Or Perez and Gordon.
Yeah, Perez, and well, yeah, because nobody's probably going to want that Gordon contract.
No.
He's not producing up to it right now. So, and you can't deal Perez because Perez has the greatest team-friendly contract in baseball history. So you can't deal from that. So I'm interested in seeing the Royals be sellers. I'm willing to take a few years off from being top of the line. I mean, we sold the farm in 2015 and we got a championship. Well, we got to build the farm back up.
Yep, exactly. Bubba Starling's the future.
Yeah, that's the one.
Talking other baseball news, Cardinals recently just signed Dexter Fowler to a 4 or 5 year, $82 million contract. And I really like this. It brings stability into the outfield for the Cardinals. And I'm a Royals and a Cardinals fan. I'm a Missouri fan in general. I like the Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou, everything. I like Missouri. That's where I'm from. But I like seeing the Cardinals going out and getting after Dexter Fowler. That brings stability into your outfield with the loss of Matt Holliday signing with the Yankees.
Yeah.
I just hope to see consistency on the defensive side because the Cardinals had a lot of errors last year. They were one of the worst defensive teams in baseball.
Yeah, I can't really talk too much on the Cardinals, but from my opinion, the Cardinals are in a position where, unlike the Royals, they can go after it every year. They're always going to be good. The Royals are in a position where they're going to play the roller coaster and they're going to have their ups and downs. The Cardinals are a team that they've been consistent for a long time. They're going to continue to be consistent. They're always going to go out there and have a run at the playoffs, and the Royals just aren't in a spot like that where they can do that. The Royals, the pitching is not in a spot where it can really contend for a championship year in and year out. The offense is just not an offense that you can rely on to carry you year in and year out. So the Royals need to be building towards the future, in my opinion.
Exactly.
And finally, one last thing. I'm sure 0 people are listening right now, but if you are going to get some glorious college football talk. We've got KU and Mizzou football talk. Go ahead and lead us off with some beautiful Mizzou off-season football talk.
And latest news for the Tigers. If many of you probably aren't Mizzou fans, and if you are, welcome to the club. But Mizzou recently just hired a new defensive line coach after recently firing former defensive line coach Jackie Shipp prior to the Arkansas game Thanksgiving week due to an altercation with a player prior to the Tennessee game. Mizzou's new hire is Brick Haley, former defensive line coach at the University of Texas. Haley was available on the markets right after Tom Herman got hired, and Herman's obviously going to bring in his own staff. He's going to clear house, more than likely.
And that's not a bad idea if you've watched Texas lately.
Exactly. I mean, they lost to Kansas, for Christ's sakes. But I believe Brick Haley is going to bring a lot of good stuff into Mizzou. He's going to, with the loss of Charles Harris to the draft, Mizzou needs that D-line. The reason why they're called D-line Zoo. It's a reason. It's because we've been producing D-line talent for many years. And hopefully he brings us back. After the down year we had this year, I hope Mizzou gets back to that 8 or 9 win mark. Hopefully gets to a bowl game.
Yeah, if I wouldn't say 8 or 9 wins is in the cards for Mizzou right now, but a bowl game definitely can be. They're a team that can build towards that. I don't really like Mizzou. I don't know why we're talking about Mizzou, so I'll give you some hot KU football takes. KU football next season. I have not seen the schedule. KU football will win 4 games. KU football will improve. KU football will have a at least shot at making a bowl game. If they can get to 5 wins, who knows? Maybe they'll. No, they won't make a bowl game. Don't even say that. I think KU is probably 2 years, like 2 full years before they're ready to start competing in the 5th year under this coaching staff. KU football talk. We managed to squeeze that in. Got any great hockey points or something we can throw in there?
Hockey points. Blues play the Devils tonight in New Jersey.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, they already played them. I'm sure the Blues won like 3-2, something like that. That makes
Game
sense?
doesn't start till about 5:30 or 6:30.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll have it edited, and you guys probably aren't watching this tonight, but yeah, that was cool. We also have Sporting Kansas City. Peter Vermees has been re-signed.
Sporting also re-signed Iko Para and midfielder Benny Feilhaber to contracts. Dom Dwyer had off-season surgery to repair, I believe, something in his knee or ankle, but
Yeah, so give me an opinion on Sporting's chances for next year. Like, just give me some random hot fire takes about their win total and stuff.
I believe Sporting KC, they make the playoffs. Their playoff streak is going to continue, but they've got to find ways to score. Last season, it was rough. There was about a 2-month stretch where they only won like 1 out of their 13 games. Out of 13, they were like 1-12 or some crap like that, and they couldn't win at home. And in the MLS, you need to win at home. You need to win at home, and you need to win key games on the road. You've got to beat Salt Lake, you've got to beat Colorado, and you've got to beat Seattle. We beat Seattle twice, but didn't beat them when we needed to in the playoffs. That's my hot take, but Seattle got hot at the right time.
All right, so this has been The GOAT Show, with the GOATs today being myself, Caleb Short, and Ian Bones Jones over there on the other side of the mic. If you have listened to this point, you are the greatest person that this show has ever seen. All one episode of it so far. So go ahead and give me like 3 paragraphs worth of comments down below. Tell me what you thought of the show. I'm sure one of your names is like Nick Streeter or something right now that's listening. So go fuck yourself, Nick Streeter.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'll probably bleep that out just for fun. And anything else? This show, we don't really have any sort of schedule for it, but I like this whole uploading after the Chiefs game. So maybe think of it on Mondays or something like that. Maybe Fridays, maybe Sunday nights we'll record it. Who knows? We'll think of a schedule. The hosts are probably going to be rotating a little bit too. I don't think every time it's just going to be me and Ian. We might, or me and Bones. He'd probably prefer to be called
Bones.
Yeah. So any feedback is appreciated. Even down to technical stuff like what do you think of the echo in this room or the mic? I don't know about all that stuff. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, more like, because there's no way you were able to stare at whatever screen I put in the background of this the entire time. Maybe I'll have some cool pictures. We'll see. See how much editing I want to do before I upload this. But yeah, thanks for listening. This has been The GOAT Show with Caleb and Bones. Week 1 recorded on December 9th, 2016, ending at 5:34 p.m.